afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching today. My name is Aaron Roberts, aka Aaron CTI, and I am delighted to be joined here today by Leo Reitano, who is an OSINT trainer and consultant working with Italian law enforcement. Leo, thank you so much for joining us, and you've got this incredible presentation. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. We're going to see some live action investigations, link analysis using different tools, and hopefully some real world examples of how you use OSINT in your day-to-day. I think this is going to be a fascinating talk and presentation. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation. Okay, I will show today, I will introduce you to the basic housing concepts, and then I will show you how to use Maltego to perform effective housing investigation at national, Italian, and international level. Who am I? I'm a housing instructor for the state police. I'm author of a Searching Internet, the first Italian manual on open source intelligence. First chronologically, so I was the first one on publishing an handbook in Italy related with open source intelligence. It was 2014, so a long time ago. I'm a speaker at various international conferences on the topic of digital investigation. I'm founder of the Academy of Digital Investigation, osintify.com. So let's start from the basics. What is OSINT? Okay, OSINT, open source intelligence, has been defined by both the U.S. Director of National Intelligence as publicly available information that is collected, exploited, and disseminated in order to address a specific intelligence requirement. Why was called open source intelligence? It was called open source intelligence because it's not a classified source. OSINT has been born in intelligence context. Okay, so it was a discipline that was born inside secret services. OSS was the first, I believe, intelligence services that started to a division with OSINT. At the time, OSINT was, newspaper, magazines, radio communications, movies, so forth. So it was much less interesting than what we can do, than what we have now. So we have now a completely different world. But anyway, that's why they called them OSINT open. Okay, because it was information that was potentially available to anybody. So there was no a juridical restriction to access this information. It's not a closed source. Okay? For example, in Italy, I cannot access without committing a crime the police database. Okay, that's a closed source, but I can Google whatever I want. Social media intelligence is a let's say specialty of OSINT. So it's an intelligence collected from social media sites using known interested means. So when we talk about OSINT, we are talking about something that is completely legal. It's not hacking. It's not privacy violating tool. We are gathering what is publicly available and legally available for investigation use. Now we have to understand, as we today use a lot of information gathering tools, Maltego is one of them. I can say is the best of them according to my personal experience. Also, artificial intelligence could be considered also an information gathering tool, as many others. So we have to be able to understand that OSINT, we have OSIF, which is the collection of data, but OSINT is the elaboration of this data in order to produce intelligence on a specific intelligence question. Okay, so who is this target? Where he moves? Where he is geolocated? Okay, what is in a ring, okay, in which organization he worked, okay, what is his official role, and so forth. Okay, just to understand, data can be combined together in different way, okay, to produce different results. So the ability to connect the dots is what really matters. The dots are there. How we connect them can change entirely the investigation results. Social media intelligence. Now, before that, we need to understand what social media are. In a short way, this slide introduces you to the concept. We have many social networks, and each of them has a specific soul. When I say soul, means that people use that specific social network having in mind a specific purpose. Okay, so Twitter was designed to allow to express an immediate state, what I'm doing right now. Okay, and it was designed to be very short in communication. That's why we cannot have a long post as in Facebook. Facebook was a more comprehensive platform. So on Facebook we can do, let's say, many things that in other social network are restricted or non currently implemented in a very good way. So I can express, for example, very complex posts. I can talk about business. I can talk about personal life. So Facebook is the most, let's say, wide in terms of use of the social network, and is also the most diffuse globally. Okay, so the majority of the users of social networks are in Facebook. So Facebook is probably the best platform where to run social media intelligence activities. Foursquare was meant to, for geolocating the activities we are doing. Okay, so this is where it done it. Instagram. Instagram was a photo collection. So basically, as we can see in the Instagram, people just post photos with a little or none text, and that's another things we have to consider. So it's not only an issue of how many users are in a platform and how many posts they produce. The point is that in one Facebook post, we can have the production of a level of information that we may not reach an entire Instagram account in terms of number of words. So again, Facebook is much more better than Instagram for social media intelligence. If my purpose is to collect information, if my purpose is to geolocate somebody, probably Instagram is better. YouTube, again, is a video collector and was designed for this specific purpose. LinkedIn is a quite extensive use platform, but basically is related with business. That means political information, personal information are usually not considered something to be expressed on LinkedIn. It could be considered sometimes a violation of an etiquette trying to use LinkedIn for personal activities. Okay, and so forth. So uh, each social network has a soul or a specific purpose. Before launching any search, we need to know what to expect from this specific platform. The slide is quite old, but give you the importance of social media, the trend. So in a total population of almost 8 billions, we have half of the population is online, and the majority of them are active social media users. So the social media interaction is growing fast, okay, and they will be dominant in the future. That's why social media intelligence matters. The power of OSINT. Open source intelligence has extraordinarily developed over the last few years. we already know what it is, and but what makes the difference that OSINT was used in the past times as a sort of ancillary discipline to the most performing intelligence discipline as signal intelligence or human intelligence and so forth. So it was like the little child of the intelligence disciplines. Now OSINT could be very effective in performing complex investigations. So this is what changed in comparison with the past. Why? Because we have nowadays we have an incredible amount of information available digitally and online. I would like to introduce the concept of digital persona. So each one of us has a ghost, as a digital ghost. We can call digital ghosts, we can call digital trails. There is a phantom of us in the internet. And this phantom is enriched every minute by us, by using apps, by posting on Facebook, by buying a domain name, by posting something on forum, but just by being present online, because somebody can mention me in his Facebook account. So it's not necessarily need to be me to produce information about me. Okay, it could be someone else. It could be also a newspaper in an investigation. Maybe they made an investigation related with my company. Business registry also give an incredible amount of useful information. Photo can be geolocated. So point is, there is an amazing quantity of information that 30 years ago was not even present in the dream of investigators. And that's what makes nowadays OSINT very powerful and very effective. Just look that what's so also in the activity of the police. If the police need to investigate, police activities are very powerful as long as they operate inside the realm of the nation state where they're based. So the UK police is very strong in UK, but if they need to investigate a case in Panama, they will not be able to access the same amount of information they can access on an UK citizen. And also the way they can access this information about the citizen of Panama is complicated. They need letters rogatory in many cases, special authorization. They need to consult with the local police. They need to trust the local police. Okay, so it's a slow process, and in certain cases also an unreliable process. Okay, imagine you go in Mexico asking the local police about searching a narcos. Probably the Mexican police is corrupt. Probably they will, warn the target that there is somebody searching, looking for him. Okay, so there are many issues in still present in international investigation by using the traditional means of law enforcement. OSINT, in a certain way, allow the investigators, so the police investigator, to address these issues. Okay, why? Because the process is very quick. You don't need an authorization by the magistrate to run a Google search. You don't need to send a letter, a rogatory letter, to get information about your target. There is an incredible amount of information. Okay, and there is also software available to elaborate this information. Moreover, the process is completely legal. Okay, so you can run it without the authorization of a magistrate, and you don't need to hack any phone, which you need an authorization of a magistrate to do so. So you can run a preliminary investigation, find good information about your target, go to the magistrate and say, hey, there is a fish to catch here. So please proceed with the rest. Trojan horses, smartphone interception, and so forth. But let's look at practical cases. For example, one very interesting is how the Bellingcat group unmasked Russian agents involved in a attempted murder in the UK in 2018. This is one of the agents that has been identified. What is the case? It's the poisoning of Sergei and Julia Skripal in Salisbury, England. This was an attempt to poison this Sergei Skripal, which was a double agent for the British intelligence agency, and his daughter. How the investigation started. On September 2018, the British authority named two Russian nationals with fake names, Alexander Petrov and Ruslan Borisov, as suspect for the poisoning of Sergei and Julia Skripal. They alleged that they too were officers of Russian military intelligence. The group, the Bellingcat group, which basically used OSINT to run investigation, reported that the nickname or the alias, as you want to call it, Ruslan Borisov, was the GRU Colonel Anatoly Chepiga, highly decorated officer. So identified the agent. How they did so? By using a social network. In this case, a Russian social network. Don't ask me if the pronunciation is correct. Otno Klansikinsky. Okay, it's their Facebook, let's say. Where they were able to find Chepiga portrait in the Wall of Honor of the Devonq Military Academy, where he graduated. So they identified him as a military guy, and this was the starting of the investigation, because by using the network of that specific page, they were able to get the names and the roles of many GRU officers. Okay, so this is not the place to show the full investigation. Point is, has been carried on by using social media intelligence. Another case. There was a suspected mafia fugitive that was living on the Caribbean island, was very difficult to locate. The police identify him by using his YouTube cooking videos. Here we have the target. You see the tattoo here. The investigation was a bit more complex than that, because they had nothing at the beginning. They had only a name of a possible associate. And by running complex social network intelligence activities, so identifying all the friends of the Facebook related with this name, and trying to identify if there was any connection with Italy, which did not happen in the first profile, but in the second profile associated with the beginning of the investigation. We started the investigation, and then we found the Facebook profile of her wife, or the person he lives with. And once we got the Facebook profile, everything, there is one single point of cracking, right? And once the profile, we identified the profile, it was easy to understand that this woman was talking with Briard relatives. In a post was saying, was mentioning the son of Briard. So the YouTube, let's say, identification was the last piece of information that has been delivered to the journals. But the investigation was a bit more complex. But anyway, it was fully carried on by using social network intelligence, because the guy who has no phone, he was using her wife's bank account or her partner's bank account. So it was a ghost in terms of traditional investigative means. So it was fully identified only by using social media intelligence analysis. Here it was an important project. There was an international cooperation against Ndrangheta, is the name of the Calabrian mafia. And it was carried on by this group of law enforcement organizations, state police, Italian state police, and Guardia di Finanza. Okay, so two international cases. Another case is interesting is how to de-anonymize an anonymous social network account on internet. This guy is Stavros, claimed he's an hacker, okay, and he's claimed to be also an open source intelligence expert. So is what we can call an art target, because it's somebody that is supposed to know how to hide his presence on the internet. You see here we have his nickname, which is related to this blog, which is also some sort of effort to, to play games with the possible investigator. He called himself Eden. Okay, but why he called himself Eden? He give us his birth date, which is 6/6. You say, in their cases, the guys are stupid. It's not a problem that they are stupid. Now, when you have a extensive digital activity, it's impossible to control everything you have done in 5 years, in 10 years. Okay? So it's like when you have a conversation, an extensive conversation with somebody for years. At some point, you fuck up because, you don't have control. Sorry for the term. You give up your identity. Okay? You give up your secrets. Okay? Because, in a long conversation, it may happen that you lose control. Same things happen in social network. Even people which is cautious, some people that is expert, people is a secret agent, people that is a fugitive, people that is a hacker. Well, they do mistakes, and the only point that we need to be able to process all this huge quantity of information, looking for their mistakes. If they do everything perfect, we will never catch them. But who knows, right? So again, amplifying the number of angles of attack of your target, you can have a possibility to get them when they do mistake.
That makes total sense.
So again, he loved to play with his alias and birth date. So again, Stabro 66. So 66, now we know that is recurrent. Okay. The description is jolly when you understand this. He's talking about Python, open source. So he has a quite good knowledge of IT science. Okay. We got everything from him. And then we will see the full investigation if we have time, even the full face on Facebook that you see. If you want to look at the eyes, look, you see is the same. Okay. I also got, because that's my investigation, the place where the community, the municipality where he was living, and the organization who he was working for. Okay. Here is the name, Enrico. And here I got even the fiscal code. Okay, so by using this code, I can get pretty much everything: his relatives, his house, his companies, whatever. So if I wanted to run this investigation for real, it was of course a fun game. I could have anything, okay, of the Mr. Hidden, not so hidden, I would say. Another case, when we have a close profile on Facebook, so we have an account where there's no timeline, no friends, no photos, okay? Pretty much anything. We don't have we have only every human has a right and the name of the person, which tells us nothing, okay? What results did I get? Everything. I got their first name, last name is cognome, first name is nome, the birth date is data di nascita, so pretty much anything. Because by name, last name, and birth date, I can have the fiscal code. In Italian, it's called fiscal code. It's the equivalent of the American social card. So very much is a code which allow you to fully identify in the public registry the person. Okay? And this is the journalist, the regional organization of journalists where he registered. Another case, this funny guy, Eric Parker, his alias clearly, he loved to play tough guy with his big biceps. I hope he's not seen total for the sake of him. Anyway, who is this guy? Here we have, again, it like to change sometimes the picture of the profile. Is this guy, okay? Not so tough, I will say. And this picture comes from his degree graduation, okay? So now that we know what results we can get with OSINT, let's talk about Maltego. What is Maltego? It is a data mining software. There is also, I don't know, the notebook analyst tool, i2, for people that like to play with the IBM products. There is G5. There are many data mining software in the market. The point is, Maltego is the most ancient one and is the only one which has 150 data partners. So it's not only a tool that allows you to visualize information that you collected, but give you search programs that allow you to catch this information online. There is no program software that allow you to do so. So it's a unique in its own terms. The first client was launched in 2007 by a South African company called Paterva, which intended the tool as a sort of a footprinting or fingerprinting tool. So it was meant for cyber threat intelligence, and then developed to be the best, OSINT tool on the market. And now it's managed by Maltego, which is a German company based in Munich. How works Maltego? Maltego is built on entities and transform to automate the process of querying different data sources contained specific server. So it's a client-server architecture. You drag and drop from the entity palette an entity on the Maltego graph, and then you have search programs called transform that are attached to that specific entity, and where you can perform research by querying the server where these transforms are located. Of course, the difficulty of working with Maltego that you need to know the relationship between entities and transform. Okay, so you have to know what searches you can run by starting from the specific entity. As there are hundreds of thousands of entities in Maltego and even more transforms, it requires a bit of activity on the tool to be quick enough performant for when you run investigation. What is an entity? An entity is a graphical object that we can insert in the Maltego graph in many ways. The most, let's say, easier one is to drag and drop from the entity palette. And what is the transform? In this case, you see get with details. Okay, so when I am on a Maltego graph, I right click with the mouse on the entity. Transform menu will appear, and then I will select the transform I want to run. In this case, get with details. And this is the output. Okay? So I have the registrant organization of the domain name courier.it, which is pretty much like the Guardian in UK. Okay? So it's a newspaper online. Now, we can also run Google queries or Bing queries in Maltego. Someone will ask, why do this in Maltego when we can do on a website, on the web version? Because Maltego do this for you. In this case, I have two queries, my first name, last name, and the word OSINT, and my first name, last name, and the word journalism, giornalismo in Italiano. And you can see I have three containers. One has the results that contains only first name, last name, and OSINT. This one contains first name, last name, and journalism. This one contains URLs where both OSINT and journalism terms are associated. Okay, you cannot have this on Google. So what you're building here is a database inside Maltego where you can run queries. You see you have the find function. So for example, I'm asking, after I collected all the information by using Bing in this case, I downloaded all this information in Maltego, and then I ran filters. In this case, I want to ask specifically the journalist organization. So show me all the URL where my target is associated with the official journalist organization. Okay, why? Because there, you have official, let's say, official relationship with the organization that run the journalists in Italy. So you can have a, I don't know, meeting. You can have information that allow you to where the target was fully identified. Because if we're running a presentation with the president of the journalist order in Italy, it was fully identified. It's not a post on social network where you can call yourself Eric Packer. Okay, so I was looking for places where this guy can be identified in his real identity. For example, let's assume I'm downloading information about somebody that works for, I don't know, domain tools. And then after I downloaded all the information related to the guy, I search, okay, show me only the information or select for me. As you can see, we have the Maltego selection. We have the orange border here. Okay, that tells me, okay, in these entities, the information that you're looking for, okay, is contained. And we can have graph, so we can download 1 million URL in a Maltego graph. It depends by your hardware, but that's the point. So I download everything about my target in Maltego, and then I can run filters. Again, this is a case where I worked about Lockheed Martin, and you see we have two queries. What I was looking for, a piece of information where there was a mention of the F-35, also of the activity of Lockheed Martin in Italy. In this case, when this article say Italy is becoming more and more important for Lockheed Martin activities. Now, let's start what is called in OSINT cyber attribution. Cyber attribution means that you have to start a workflow to fully identify your target. You can start from many points. The easier one are the personal identifiers. I mean, first name, last name, and location. The first name, last name in itself do not identify anything. You need at least to have a location or a job position to be able to identify your specific target. Otherwise, there will be too many results related with too many people that are not your target. They just share the same first name, last name. The best personal identifier in my experience is getting someone email. Okay, because pretty much many social networks, many accounts are associated with emails more than phone numbers. Okay, so the email is the target of choice when we want to harvest information about someone. Not only, of course, one email, but the more email addresses we get, the better. In this case, you see, starting from the email, which is just giving me the name of the person and then the company works for, I get the full name of the person. First name Ilaria, last name Mori. Here I get also a Skype account with another alias, can be used for search. But from this, I get another email address with a Flickr account, the LinkedIn account of the person, okay? Another email that I didn't run, the Twitter account, the company work for, okay? So, and also an idea of the location. So the cities where she was living during years, okay? So she was also in Santa Clara in California, okay? But this, for example, this is in Tuscany, this is in Tuscany, this is in Tuscany. So this gives me the idea that Ilaria was born in a city in Tuscany, okay? Probably Pisa. So that's starting from email. We start, and I mean, I didn't analyze the LinkedIn account, which will produce another huge load of information, okay? So we started from something that seems useless, but as you can see, we can have a very good results in terms of cyber attribution. So profiling a person, profiling a target.
May I ask what transforms you've used in this example?
In this case, this is a social links transform, where from the email I get a people entity. People is the most, let's say, used personal search engine, and also believe the most ancient personal search engine in the world. A personal search engine is a tool that allow you to input an email and get personal identifiers and social network of person. So in this case, the transform doesn't appear here. So I will have to reproduce in social links. But the point is, this is a social links transform. So you run the click, and if you filter out for people, it will show give me people results of this email attached with this email. This is a people entity. And once you have the people entity, you just ask the entity, show me all the information collected by people related with this entity. And then it will explode all these, you know, cloud of information. It is the same. I covered because I started. So we start from a phone number. The process is pretty much the same. And you have to imagine that, for example, I start from a phone number. I get a people entity. From the people entity, I get this phone number. From this phone number, I get another people entity with more information attached to it. So that means this one has not been searched, okay? This one has not been searched. This one has not been searched. But each personal identifier, phone number, email, carry on more and more information. So once you start from email and get another 4 emails, bingo. You are pretty sure that you will find a lot of intel about the person you're looking for. Also, Maltego allow us to run facial recognition. For example, we are an entity face search scope where I put the first name, last name of the target, and a picture. And this is a transform in social links. And you see, you get other social network account by facial recognition. Facial recognition means that the software is going to extract a template of identification points associated with the first face of the person, and we run it on server in order to use this template to identify other faces. Okay, so it's not a reverse image search. As you see, the images are quite different one from another. Also, for example, this is the case. You see, this is the LinkedIn of Karina Shadrowski, and you see, this is the transform, Facebook search by face and name in social links, and I get, starting from her LinkedIn account, her Facebook account, even if your image is very different, okay? Even if the face and the Facebook account is very small in comparison with the LinkedIn one. this transform of social links is very powerful. Even people with sunglasses can be identified. Now, let's again go back to Serena. How do we run the investigation? As you can see, we have a Facebook account, no timeline, no photo, no friends, no nothing. Just the first name, last name, and no photo here. As you can see, now I just put the zoom here. Okay, what I do? What did I do? I start from the Facebook entity on Maltego by using social links, and I ask social links to show me all the photos where the person was tagged. Why this is relevant? Because usually a target has no control of the photo that's been tagged by someone else. Better, he has control because he can decide which photos are tagged or untagged. But again, as is a painful process to control everything, now she just imagined, okay, I just close my timeline. I show nothing on my timeline. I'm safe. Okay. Again, everybody make a mistake. So from the photo tagged, what we got? The professional activity. She's a touristic guide. She was a course of cartography. She is a teacher on a seminar for the same organization. This is the Vesuvio, which is in Naples, as you know. Okay. This is the full face of the person. Okay. This is a bunch of people that are with her. And this is related with her neighborhood in Naples. So we look at the face, the company she worked for, the people associated with her in this company, her neighborhood, her city, okay, and her face, okay, just by using one transform. You think that in Facebook with social links, also in Shadow Dragon, you have for Facebook at least 60 or more transforms, okay. So that's that, and these are not all the photo tag I got. These are selection, okay, made for you for understanding better, okay. But it's a small part of the whole data I got with this transform. So one single transform, you know, allow us to access pretty much everything, because once you know the name of the association she worked for, you Google search, okay. You have search pointers. So the point of Maltego is collecting not only direct useful information, to collect search pointers that you can run in other database. Let's say I found, the name of the company she works for. I go in the Italian business registry and I get all the information about this company. Okay. Now here is mentioned, for example, a specific organization inside this image. I can search in Google what is this information, also in Facebook and LinkedIn. So this is the beginning. So this richness is nothing but the beginning of a more complex investigation. And we got ready pretty much what we need for a basic report. So she lives in Naples. She lives in the Vomero neighborhood. This is her face. This is the organization she works with. And these are friends inside this organization. Pretty much, right? Starting from, remember, we start from this. Nothing else. Okay? Again, this is imagine you're in law enforcement. You did your first name, last name, location. You have a database, no fancy database giving you all the details, right? We start from nothing. So the good things of OSINT that can start from minimal data, piece of data without OSINT technical tools are irrelevant. So if I'm a police officer, I see this Facebook profile, all I can do, I can ask Facebook, who is this person? And if she use a fake email, fake phone number, Facebook will never be able to identify her, or a VPN. Okay? So that's that to understand. Now, even this huge platform has no complete control who are the user, how many fake accounts are in Facebook, how many fake accounts are in LinkedIn, how many users use a VPN to register inside the platform, fake, emails or fake phones. I didn't say so. I say I did it, okay, but I didn't say so. So it's possible, it's doable. People do. Fraudsters, hackers, investigators, okay, intelligence operatives, they do fake accounts, okay? So the problem is, I'm a law enforcement officer. I believe in my fancy database here. What I do, what information I can get? This information, okay? Again, the target made a mistake, yes. But to be understand that she made a mistake, she need to know how to use Maltego. And not everybody knows. Even in law enforcement intelligence people, because as they're not particularly keen or expert in OSINT, as we observe in the Chapika case, so even the the mythical GRU, it is the most heavy and efficient Secret Service of Uncle Putin. Even they failed the OSINT test. Even their information was online. That's the point. Because even intelligence agency that use other tools, SIGINT, HUMINT, they cannot defend themselves properly from a well-cared OSINT attack. In many cases, not all of them, but in many cases, they are vulnerable. Okay, again, this is the image we saw before. This is her face, pretty face. Anyway, and we see also here we are understanding, for example, from the old photo tag, we are extracting the location and viewing the location in what is called diverse descent view. That means that the Maltego increase the dimension of the entity according to the links attached to it. Okay, so this allows me to understand that Naples now is, with high probability, the city where my target lives, because many links extracted from the target photos are associated with this location. So far, so good? All clear?
This is super interesting.
Okay.
I think I guess for a lot of people, like you get familiarity with like what Maltego is, what Maltego can be. But I think just bringing this real world like experience, and here's an example. This is how I did it. This is what this looks like. I think is such a powerful like addition to like that initial piece of knowledge, and also then being able to point out like if you use like this source, this is the potential, like in terms of like the power of the results that you could get. So going from an anonymous Facebook profile to here's their face, and now we could run that like facial recognition search against different platforms and find more. I think is such a really interesting, powerful like demonstration of the power of like the tools like Maltego.
Thank you. Maltego image recognition starting from a private Instagram profile. As we know, let's check it. Who is Drew Sullivan? He's the publisher and co-founder of the best investigative center in the world, okay, the OCCRP. Okay, so he's a person, he's a journalist, but he's a person that investigated Putin environment and Russian environment for years. So they know that they are target of Russian FSB or Russian intelligence. So they are supposed to have some counterintelligence activities in place. Okay. Anyway, the account is private. So, and Drew Sullivan is not a noob. Okay, he's not, with all due respect, a blue collar miner from I don't know, Salisbury. Okay, is a person with an extensive knowledge in intelligence, investigation activities, and so forth. Okay, is not a guy next door. So we have this account. We want to track the networks of relationship of Drew Sullivan in Instagram. So I want to know basically who are his followers. Okay. And if I try to do this directly, there is no way to do so. Okay. Let's say I got a human information. All the CIA spies, I say CIA, but it's just a case. So Italian intelligence spies, or let's say whatever, okay, associated with Jew, are among the followers. Okay, I got this piece of information. True or false, I don't know. I got this piece of information. This is my starting point. So my goal is to extract as much as I can followers of Jew Sullivan, right? Okay. Again, any intelligence related information. Okay, so I say let's assume CIA, let's assume FSB, let's assume GRU, let's assume whatever. Okay, the Soros Foundation. Okay, but I know that inside these followers there are people that matters. Okay, just not to mention wrongly association that are not absolutely related with Drew Sullivan or OCCRP. Just saying, no, right? So we got a piece of information. So what we want is inside this list. Okay? So we need to get this list. How we do this? Manually, impossible. Hacking the account, you have to hack the account. Okay? And Instagram can, be aware of it, that there are efforts to force the account. So every activity leaves trace behind. Okay? I'm not a hacker. I don't want to argue about being able to do this in a snap of fingers. I don't think so. But anyway, it's not my field. Anyway, if I run a journalistic investigation or police investigation and I'm not authorized to do so, the extraction by hacking, it's illegal. So it matters nothing. It's illegal in court. It's illegal in a newspaper. I can manage this information even if I get it. If I get it, the same information by using OSINT, well, I can use it. That's the difference. So let's go again to the slide. What I do, I run a facial recognition from Drew account, Instagram, to his Twitter account. Okay? And from Twitter, I extracted the list of followers. This is one of them, Pauline Unker, which follow Drew Sullivan on Instagram. But she follow Drew Sullivan also in Twitter, or X, as we call it now. She follow Drew Sullivan also on Instagram. Then you will ask me, how did you get the followers of Drew Sullivan? Because Instagram protect the information, starting from Drew Sullivan account. But if I go search in the Polina account on Instagram and the account private, I can extract the following people. So Maltego correlates the information, and now I know that Pauline Anker is one of the followers of Drew Sullivan. But you can the process is automatic, so you can imagine these 43 accounts in Twitter. I made a facial recognition, and I have 43 accounts now in Instagram. They are all followers of Drew Sullivan. Okay? Long story short. So I was able to extract a portion, okay? Also, I will say the most important portion, because these people that follow you in different social network accounts are usually people that works with you, people that know you, okay? Close friends, okay? Real life friends. That's why these results matter more. So I was able to do what was impossible to do by any other means, by using social links. So now I have a portion, okay? Not the whole list, but the portion, there are more than 44. But anyway, It doesn't matter. It's important just to show you the technique. Okay, I'm showing you by using the slide because doing the transform in Maltego it requires time. I don't want you to wait until Maltego do the extraction. Okay, that's the point. But anyway, you know how to do the job, or how the job is done, more properly. Again, the geo search always by using social links. Let's say I have an address. Okay, this is a newspaper name. This is the address, and this is the city, Turin. Now, what I input is the name of the street of the GPS coordinate. And what I can do, I can extract all the posts related with these coordinates. I have 130 Instagram video, 2,200 Instagram posts, 400 contact posts. These are 169 Facebook video. These are 250 Facebook images and so forth. Why this matters? Because if I want, for example, to get all the majority of the workers of this organization, okay, what I do, I look for the post and then I ask Maltego to social links to extract the author of the post, okay, by using the transform author. As you can see here, this is the name of the transform, and I get the profile of the person, okay, and from facial recognition confirms that he works as a journalist for the newspaper La Stampa, okay, and I have also additional details if I want. So this is just one case. This is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 posts, but I was able to identify like 40 journalists working for this newspaper. But that's what, because it's a newspaper, but it could be a police precinct. Let's go on Maltego. Okay, this is the Italian address, the address of the biggest Italian police present in Reggio Calabria in southern Italy. Okay, I have the I just input the address, and from the address I extract. Let's go. This is the transform tree. I go to social links. Okay, and I get the GPS. These are the GPS coordinate. From the GPS coordinate, I get the transform is called media by geo. So I go here just to do a live example, and there you go. This is the transform. I can search, of course, Snapchat, Telegram, Facebook, and many other social network platforms. Okay, and as you can see, the name of the biggest Italian president in a city, headquarter. Okay, so let's say this is police headquarters in this city, is called Questura. So this is the headquarters of the Italian police, state police in this specific city. You see that these are police officers. Okay, now from the photo, I can identify the people that post this photo. So I got what? The full identity. This is one, I got much more. The police officer that works for this in this headquarters. Okay, But this is the beginning, because I, for example, if I know this is a police officer, I can go to another graph and extract, for example, user groups. And you see, now it's running transform, so it takes its own time, a bit of time. That's why I don't do live, because, okay, in this case it was very quick because there are not many entities. There are no information in the group related with the police, but for example, it can be in the pages, okay, or other pieces of information. For example, I want to search the post.
You just see how quickly and how powerful
Yeah, I mean,
like
in
the
this
data
case,
aggregation is.
it depends how many posts he has to download. Okay, here is just 28. It's nothing. But if you have to download more, you see now it's taking such time. So here you have the running transform, okay, and as probably this guy has many posts, it will take time. Okay, so let's move forward. Anyway, just to give you an idea. So the point is, by using the geo search, I identified many police officers. Okay, that's the point. Here, the guy is one of his colleague. Okay, and this is the guy. So this is the colleague. So this is the person who started, the police officer. Now in this photo, he's with another police officer. And this is the Instagram account of the other police officer. No very law enforcement style picture, anyway. It is what it is. So this is just the beginning, you know. So I mean, I'm running this on let's say 14 posts. Okay, I collected 2,317 posts. Okay, so this is just the beginning of the investigation. Okay, I can also use filter, for example, to locate what they need, and so forth. Anyway, so what I got is just, again, I start from knowing the address of a place. Okay, it could be a police organization, it could be a company, it could be the hidden front of the FSB, it could be whatever. Okay, so starting from a GPS point, I can identify in many cases who lives in a specific building and what they do.
Such a powerful capability.
It is a powerful, again, because people don't know it.
I think if you try to do this like on a social media platform manually or via like Excel, how long that would take you
No,
to
it's
collect all that
impossible.
data.
It's impossible. That's why automated doesn't. It's unreplaceable, because you can do what is called deductive investigation. The inductive method is when you have start from the particular to go to the general aspects. Facebook account, and you start to dig on this Facebook account. In this case, deductive means that you start from everything that is around your target, his friends, his GPS coordinates, his address, okay? And from this kind of attack, it's very difficult to defend yourself, okay? Because it's not something that you are giving up. It's something that has been given up by somebody around you. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
But to dig on information which is deductively related to your target, you need Maltego. Because you need to start not from one Facebook account, but you need to start from 300 posts to get your target. Okay? That's why you need a software able to do this kind of data collection and analysis. Otherwise, it would be impossible.
Not for sure.
I mean, you can do manually, but you have to scrape, put in a graph. I mean, if I have to run properly an investigation on this graph with 200 entities, it might take me 3-4 hours. Okay? By having to do the whole process manually, it will take days. Okay? Not assuming all the mistakes that you can do. Now describing it doesn't work. All the things that doesn't work because it's not, an industrial product. Okay, it's something you created in a more professional, amateur way, but you're not a company. So behind Malteo, there are, dozens of programmers, dozens of coders. Okay, then try to fix the scrapers when they don't work. Understand? You
Yeah.
are alone. Maybe you 3 guys, but that's why, let's say, free OSINT is less and less. I mean, I was one of the most. I was back in the time. I was one of the most proficient user of Facebook Graph. Okay, and Kubernetes gave to me a cheat sheet of 5,000 possible queries. I mean, the tool was fantastic. It was free, but now it's gone. Why? They don't have any obligation to keep going. Maltego is a company. If they don't deliver, they don't survive. Okay? Facebook has no interest. Okay, so whatever is free means that there is no an organization that is working to fix problems when they arise. So when the problem arises, your tool that was so precious to do running investigation, went into the dust, and you are without search possibility. You are without means. That's why I decided to invest in Maltego, because Maltego give me reliability in time. I know that they will be there tomorrow. Whatever script on GitHub could disappear tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can rely. I mean, I'm an analyst. I'm not a coder. I can rely on product that can disappear tomorrow. I have to deliver. That's why. That doesn't mean that the manual search is not important, or you cannot use free tools when you say you may see fit on when they deliver something that maybe is not in Malteo. It may happen, but they are complementary tools, ancillary tools. Okay, this is the main course. Those are appetizers. Okay, good if you can have it, but you cannot miss the main meal. My
Not for
point.
sure.
My point. Okay, let's continue. So this is what GeoSearch has to offer. Telegram. This is a group in Telegram. Okay. I do extract by using social links one of the users, which is this Nicolo Colecchia. And the alias is peculiar because Nico is an abbreviation of Niccolò. Asti is the name of a city in Italy. And then we have 2000. So it seems to me that this guy, first name and last name is Niccolò Colecchia. He lives in Asti, okay, which is a city in Italy. And he was born in 2000. Okay? So what I did was extracting search pointers. And then I used the search pointers to run a manual search on Facebook. And this is the guy. Okay, so there's a cyber attribution telegram. This is, for example, another. This is a QAnon group, Telegram group, Italian QAnon group. Okay, these are two members of the group. I want to identify who these guys are. Again, I have in Telegram the possibility to extract historical photo in Facebook and of the Telegram account. As you can see, here I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 5. Okay? I extract by using social links 4 historical image, so I can give an image to this anonymous Telegram account. In this case, I have the full name, so it's even easier because I get the picture, I attach the picture to the Telegram account, I run the facial recognition, and get the Instagram, the LinkedIn, and Facebook. Okay. Again, the photo we see here is not present in the main Telegram account. It's an historical photo extracted from the Telegram account. Okay, here is easy peasy to understand, but we can see, for example, that even in Facebook, she has the same icon of the group, the same logo. Okay, so this helps us in getting rid of possible false positives. Again, these guys love to call themselves Wolf-Lone Maverick. Okay, in this photo, I enlarge the photo to get identifiers. He has a logo here that is a logo of the Italian Special Forces. The Consubin is the equivalent of the Navy SEALs or the SBS, I believe, in UK.
Yeah.
So you see, this is the Consubin logo. Also in the hat is the same logo. You say, oh, look, an Italian Special Force guy in a QAnon group. That sounds interesting. Okay. This is the Consubin logo extracted from the website. Okay. Now, I fully identify the person. How? Because from the alias, I was able to reach the Instagram account where I have the name. Okay. Then from the first name, last name, and the picture, I got his Facebook account, his LinkedIn account, sorry. Okay. As you can see, same face, has nothing to do with Italian Special Forces, just a wannabe that work as a sales manager in a restaurant or sales manager, food and beverage, supply warehouse, security service. Okay, so it's nobody basically, with all due respect. So it's not Italian Special Forces. So false positives have been identified. Now the elements that we collected before until the final verification, in a way, conduce us to assume that it was a member of Italian Special Forces. Final verification showed that this guy is just a blue collar. Anyway, other things we can do with Maltego, domain name intelligence. In this case, Germany. Germany got a whole of frauds online in 2021 because the official domain name registry of Germany, dinic.de, it wasn't so, let's say, German. Why? Why they allowed to anybody to register a D domain name, which is trusted because people know it's like a UK domain name is a state domain name. So usually when there is state domain name, the registry asks you identification ID. In Germany, no. In Germany, you can say I'm James Dean, okay, and you can register a D domain saying that you are James Dean. It doesn't look so very much German, but this is the way it was. Okay. So, but anyway, Exploiting this loophole, tons of online fraudsters created a wave of fake shops where basically people was buying goods to receive nothing. Okay, they were getting the good money, and they no goods for them. So, and you see this one of the forum when one of the customer is reporting the issue, and this is the name of one of the fake shop. As you can see, is a state domain. So I got 200 fake domain, and I had to understand how to identify the people behind this domain, which was very difficult because these people, the data delivered to the Italian, to the German domain name registry were all fake. Okay. Moreover, many of these domains got with privacy, so protection data or with data access. So, as you can see, for example, many email in this two fake domain is of course a joke email used to register this domain. Anyway, by using this joke email, I was able to get more and more domains attached to it. And again, somebody make a mistake. So only on one of these 200 cloud of domain names, I got this email, which per se say nothing. Sex screenshots means nothing. It's not a first name, last name. I was able, by using a personal search engine, to identify the person that was using this email. And this is the guy. Okay? So it's a person that has been identified in the past by the FBI as a fraudster, thief, snowshow spammers, and so forth. A cyber criminal. Okay? Again, another case, gegenshop.de. We have an email, okay, which is related to entities that are not clearly identified. So we have an Instagram account only with the alias. We have Facebook. We know that there is existing Facebook, but we are not able to determine which account is it. So we have a Gravatar account, okay, but we have also, we know that this present on this email is attached to this domain name, iPhonebm.com. And from the domain, we get the name of the person, a phone number, and an address. So this person claimed to live in Molenbeek in Belgium, which is basically the Arab neighborhood of Brussels, Arab African neighborhood of Brussels. Which is important because we analyze this Facebook page, and of course, many of the users of this page were coming from Africa. Another case. This is another domain name of a fake shop. We got this email, okay, and the email in this case directly correlate to a LinkedIn account. So in this case was Iser. This is the guy. He lives in Benin. Now why is important? Because there is another fake shop which is related to a person which doesn't live in Africa, which is this Gabriela Markova, which lives in Slovakia. But the point is that this Markova created in UK in 2020 a network with UK companies pretty much in the same dates, having as a shareholder a guy from Benin, this Wilfred Gerard, and we know that another owner of fake shop was this Icham Alamo from Benin. Okay, these are the four UK company registered in company house that do the same activities, okay, retail sale via internet. They are in the same address, of course. They were registered pretty much in the same data, and they belong to these two people, okay. So, what are the odds that a person from Benin register with another fraudster? No, companies that are related with retail sale via internet. Okay, so my assumption, it wasn't verified because they didn't want to move on the investigation, that these four companies were getting at least a good portion of the revenues coming from the fake shop wave. Okay, so this was an interface between the company investigation and domain name intelligence investigation. Another case, company investigation. We have a name we got by using social links. Let's do it right away. Okay, let's open a new graph. I copy and paste the name, and Maltego automatically create an entity. From this entity, I go to social links, ultraswarm, and for example, I have here inside the server social links company house data. In this case, I run company house search officers. Okay, as you can see, company house search officer is that, so I know it's him as a first name and last name, and then I get the appointments. So the company where this guy appointed registered, and there is this YI Ltd. And from this company, for example, I can search other get details, get person with significant control, and search officers. So who else is involved? This is an entity that usually is a sort of administrative service that help in buildings and a sort of lawyer company that builds society for other people. Okay, so there are 1,000 different companies associated with this account because they, are officers in all the company that they create for other people. So basically, they are a proxy. Okay, and then you have two names. Okay, Gioni, that we already know, and this guy. Why Gioni is important? Because it is important. It was targeted because in 2007, Italian intelligence services illegally, along with the main telecom company in Italy, created a clandestine network to carry on illegal espionage on Italian people, on Italian citizens. So he was one of the guy involved in this. So I want to understand what were his company abroad, because probably he used this company to put the money coming from the illegal activities. So this is what I get uh, from the company house, but I can do much more. For example, I can run searches on offshore leaks. Leaks is a database of companies that has been hacked by the many operation. Usually, this is the website. So all the data leak related with the companies in tax 7 are present, has been collected on this database by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists. Okay? And there are many leaks. Pandora Papers, the Paradise Papers, the Bahama leaks, the Panama Papers, the offshore leaks. Okay? Social links collected this data and made this data available by Maltego search. And in this case, for example, I can get the companies. Okay? And he was officer of this company, which is, if I recall properly, was based on British Virgin Island. Okay, this is the country code. Okay, there you go. British Virgin Island, GPS point. I don't need. Okay, so I am collecting all the companies, international company of Fabio Ghioni. Fabio Ghioni is an Italian citizen, so means all the companies that are not located in Italy. Okay. Anyway, I showed you already how to use this trust form. The whole collection was this one, and we got the YI Ltd, and then there was the Y Globe International, another company here, the Colson Sarge Investment, and the YI Ltd is interesting because we have also the incorporation date and so forth. This Astolfi Marcel was another criminal, so it was sentenced for bankruptcy in Italy. Okay, and he got another company. Okay, why we analyze the network of people that is associated? Because probably these, maybe Ghioni, which is associated with another criminal, asked him, made some operation, bank operation from this company to this other company in order to guard the money in places or in bank accounts, more hidden in comparison with the one related directly to him. Okay? And then also fully identify the location of the guy. And these are, for example, from this is the analysis of the entity of the Constant Charge Investment Ltd. I can extract the officer of the company and the intermediary of the company, the location of the company, but also from the entity Fabio Ghioni, his address in Milan, which is his residential address nowadays. Okay, that's all. There's just a small part of what Maltego can do, but I hope that I was able to give you an idea on what can be done via Maltego and what can be done with a proper workflow, which is cannot be only Maltego, but you have to mix together in an efficient workflow manual searches and automated searches via Maltego. The combination of the two, as we saw in the first slides, can deliver interesting results even in a complex international investigation. So I hope that my small awareness talk was able to produce more and more interest on what OSINT and automated OSINT can do for the OSINT folk and community. That's it.
Leo, thank you so much. That's a really interesting presentation. I think covered a lot of ground. But I'm a huge, huge fan of Maltego anyway. And I think the power of link analysis and being able to automate those workflows and that data collection is just what's very obviously one of the most powerful tools that we have as researchers and investigators, especially in cases where it's not necessarily like an easy point A to point B investigation. It's like a lot of the things you pointed out is like, oh, here's a private profile, here's a selector of some description with no further context. And then being able to use these tools to enrich that information just a little bit to then find other bits of information that then give us that like valuable piece of intelligence that we're really looking for. I think it's such an important use case. And I think it's something that anyone who's new to OSINT really should get comfortable with doing and should be practicing and getting things in their workflows where they can do this on a regular basis. And also, I think it also reinforces some of those things. Like if you can find a tool does this like jump for you, can you then figure out how to do that yourself anyway? So if the tool does fail, can we then
also because
figure out that tradecraft?
The tools does everything in the same place, okay, and is able to connect data coming from a very heterogeneous amount of database. So we got social media database, we got Wiki's database, we got company database, we got Google search, okay, but that's just the beginning. There are many other databases that can be, in a one click associated with your entity search. So there is no other tool than Maltego that has already a built-in capability, okay, run this kind of cross searches among various database and heterogeneous database. So imagine you can reinvent the wheel and rebuild Maltego. What's the point? Okay, so it's already there. You got because what is matter is also the number of data partners they got. Okay, so 150 companies from Cisco to Domain Tools to Orbis. The only point that can be not advantageous, let's say the weakest point of Maltego is the cost.
Yeah.
It's expensive. Okay, so because many solutions must be bought apart. So Orbis can cost, the API can cost around 10,000 euro per month. Okay, social links cost pretty much the same a year. Maltego in itself is sold already nowadays with DataPass, so it costs 500. Domain Tools is another 30k. So one license of Maltego with all these tools can easily reach 150,000 euros. So it's not pocket money. So that's this is the, let's say, weakest point of Maltego. The being a professional solution for professional, it's expensive. So it's not affordable in terms of cost, and also it's not affordable in terms of easiness, because as you understand, to move between all these graph entities and transform requires a huge experience to do it effectively. So
Sure.
the combination that you need training, you need continuous learning, that you need a lot of money, make this product unsuitable for beginners, amateurs, and also for professional, because not many professional entities have the money or the capability. Because, for example, I train people using Maltego in Italy. Some due diligence companies bought it, but the analysts were never able to use it efficiently because they didn't incorporate the Maltego in their workflow. Okay, so if you don't use it, I can teach you how to use it, but if you don't use it, you will forget about it. Okay, because it was too complex for them. And so there are many. There are some issues which are not with the product itself, but with the cost and complexity, which make it suitable only for a small percent of us internalists, as per my experience.
That's really interesting and some great points. I want to ask before we go that if anyone wanted to reach out to you to talk about the presentation, or if they've got any questions, is there any particular way of contacting you that would be preferential?
OSINTify.com is the website you see in the presentation. They can write to me there. or they can just Google my first name, last name, and Google their my LinkedIn account, Facebook account, or Twitter account, so they can reach me there as they do prefer. Or if you want, I can give you an email, okay, if this make more it's easier for you. I don't use very often a Synthify email, which I forward to this email. So if they want to know more, let's say this is the email they can use. Or
Fantastic.
they can reach me to my personal Twitter account, which is this one, OSINT Learn.
Amazing.
Perfect. Thank you for having me, and it was a very interesting opportunity. And let's keep in touch.
No, thank you so much, Leo. It was a really, really interesting session.
I also have the invitation for your Discord UK group, so I will join right away tonight. And
Fantastic.
so I gladly will contribute to the community because I love to be in group with other Sinchans, interchange opinion, learn from them, grow with them.
No, amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay.
The communities can take so much away from this, I think. Just seeing this put into practice, I think, is such a powerful way of learning and being almost able to follow along. I think it's such a great way to be able to
I usually
research.
Even having an academic background, so I got a PhD in social media studies, but in this kind of training, I'm very practical because you learn by doing. You also in my training, there is no theory. It's not the minimum amount that you need to understand what you're doing. Okay, but 80% of my training is practical. Also in the Synthify.com platform, also I give the opportunity to the OSINT community members, if they're interested. There is a collection of videos related with Maltego social links. They send me an email and I will give an account for free. So
fantastic.
they have the video. If they want, they have to pay the solution because we know what it is. But at least they know what they can do. Okay, they have the video. There are probably 24 hours of recording there, so they can expand efficiently the few concepts I described during this call, during this webinar. Okay?
Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
I'm sure so many people are going to reach out to you now. You're going to regret that one.
No problem. Okay.
Amazing.
It was a pleasure. Have a good night. Ciao.
You too. Ciao, Leo. And for everyone watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in. I think that was a really interesting session. So much nuance and practical steps to go from A to B in your link analysis investigations. I think there's so much we can all take away from that. And even the little things like the weighting of entities to help you hone in on true positive matches versus false positive results from large numbers of search results. I think it's those little things that can really take your OSINT game to the next level. So thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back very, very shortly in the next couple of weeks with our next webinar. And thank you once again. And until next time, goodbye.